we've managed to go through the basics. Now we're into the real ones. So the first set are the deadly puzzles, and this is the bronze level deadly puzzle. So we're outmatched and we have to win anyway. What do we have? We have a bunch of deadly cards and an opponent that's at 8. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need them to stop gaining life. So we're going to absolutely want to shoot down that bad boy. And then we've got Soaring Strangers, so that both of our strangers can attack. And a Blazing Renegade. Once we do that, we attack with everything. 5 damage gets to go through. And because of that, we have just enough with the torch to kill them. Perfect. The Silver Deadly Puzzle. Survive the enemy attack and win on your next turn. So we've got to use a little bit of ambush here. They're coming in with all of their creatures. Now, we're going to need to be able to have enough flyers to come back and kill them afterwards. We're at 1 life. So not too difficult. What we want to do is use our Scorpion Wasp to kill their Sandstorm Titans so that that actually matters again. And then we can block both of these here. We lose both of the creatures, but that's fine. We don't take any damage because we can't stand to. And then on our turn, we have a Flying Humbug that we can Synchronize Strike and win with. So, attack, player Synchronize Strike, and 2 damage exactly, we win the game. The Gold Deadly Puzzle. It gives us a little hint. Lifesteal's the problem. Win the turn anyways. So our opponent's at a fairly low life total, sitting at 3. But they have this big Elias, the Broken Wing. So we're going to have to stop that. Now, pretty easy. We've got Quick Draw in our hand with Trigger Happy, and we have Viper's Bite. And both of them are fast spells. We have just the right amount of mana to do it. So if they're at 3, we've got 3 creatures that will not be blocked. We attack. Once they block, we give all of our units Quick Draw so that the damage is going to resolve on our side first, and then we give the one that's being blocked Deadly so that it kills it first before it gains lifesteal, deal 3 damage, and win the game. The Diamond Deadly Puzzle. Take back control of the skies and win this turn. So we have a board where our opponent has a lot of 5/5s and we have a lot of 4/4s, all flying. So the way to win this one, the key, is the last word, and realizing that relic weapons, when they say things like deadly or quick draw, give it to all of your spells because you're playing your spells. So now we have deadly Vara's Favors, which we're going to use to get a sigil. It's important to play that first so that we have the mana to play it on the temper. So then we'll shoot 1 more. We're going to need 3 of these coming in unblocked. Oh, we still have a problem. Luckily, this gives us Quick Draw as well. So we get to deal damage without taking any ourselves and attack for the win. Perfect. The Master Deadly Spell. Find a way out by winning this turn. Get a lot of cards. Generally, when you get a lot, it's kind of to confuse you. This one's not too difficult. What we're going to be doing is using this Alpine Tracker. And then we're going to give it Viper's Bite. Return it to our hand. The key being that abilities in Eternal, of course, stay on the creature. So now we just need to play it again. We don't even have to worry about Torrent Spiders or anything like that. We just get rid of everything and boom, hit our opponent for lethal. Bronze Killer. Win this turn without letting the Instigator take you out. The Instigator is going to be a key card here. I always forget it myself, so it's going to be a thing in a lot of these puzzles, where you need to remember that it's going to deal damage to your opponent as well. So what we want to do is give our 0-2 a little bit of power and deadly. Then we're going to give it killer. We can get rid of this because we can't attack it, like we can't hit this, otherwise we both die. So we're going to do this instead. Kill our opponent's instigator, deals damage to both of us, which is very important because now they block 1 and we deal 6. Perfect. Silver Killer, easy rules, win the game without dying yourself. We've got an opponent at 7, and once again, they're going to have an Argenport Instigator. And also important to note is that we are going to have this Yeti Snow Chucker, which deals an extra damage when it attacks. And I forgot that for a little while when I was doing this myself. So we can't lose any life, we're at 1. So we can't use something like Combust right away. We can't use the Skycrag Wyvern to attack and kill the Instigator, or it dies as well, and we lose. But we do have Trigger Happy again to get Quick Draw, which also happens to work on Killer. So we're going to Trigger Happy our team, kill the Argenport Instigator with no harm to ourselves, and then it's pretty easy from there. Alluring Ember has Flying and Charge, and we can use Combust, sacrificing our Wyvarch that fought, to deal exactly 6 damage with the Snow Checker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. Gold Killer. It's not looking good. Find out a way to win this turn. So a lot of these are just kind of the same rules winning this turn. There are some that later on let you have multiple turns and have some slight variations on that. Now, we've got important here, Alluring Ember on the top of our library. So we're going to be able to play that. Our opponent's just at 3. And what we can do is run out this Rakano Flagbearer, and it's got Warcry 2. So it's kind of an interesting way to solve this puzzle. Warcry will trigger on any attack, which includes fight. So we Xenon Initiation this, and we're going to pump our Alluring Ember that's on the top of our library. And play that, and attack for 3. Perfect. Don't even need the other 2 cards. Win this turn. Diamond Killer now. Opponent's at 9. And we get a ton of cards here. Things like Shimmer Pack and Crystallize and all kinds of cards that we've got to keep track of. This one was quite an interesting puzzle. Really, you can tell right away we're going to need this Skyrider Vanguard to get Spark. So the way to do that is for us to use Talon Dive on our Humbug so that we're going to trigger Spark before combat. So we're going to play the Humbug, then we're going to Talon Dive it to give it Overwhelm and +2/+2. We can then Xenon Initiation it, attacks through for 3 damage in the air, leaving our opponent at 6, which then can trigger the Spark on Skyrider, and we deal exactly 6 flying damage. Master Killer. Find a way to get through these units and win this turn. So all the killer ones are straightforward. Just win this turn. You don't have to have your opponent attack you or anything like that. This one was a lot of fun. We get bad news, so you can ready your units to attack again. And that is going to be pretty important here. So with them exactly at 8, we're going to use the Noble Firemane. And we're going to use it to attack and kill a Sand Viper. We're going to use this to kill the 5/5, and this seems a little bit strange, but it works. So we'll attack. We're leaving the 7/7, as you'll notice. You're not going to fight with that, because now we just ready again. It doesn't matter that they have the 7/7. They have to block this, but they're only at 7 life. And so they still die to both of our other smaller creatures. Perfect. We're on to the new set of puzzles, Bronze Aegis. So win the game before your impending doom. And we start off this puzzle with, you guessed it, a bunch of impending dooms. So we need to hurry up and win this game quickly before that kills us. And what we have to do here is attack with the team. The opponent is going to lightning strike this creature, which is a pretty big problem because whenever it loses Aegis, then it deals less damage. So now we can kind of see the kink in the plan. We don't want the Aegis to pop, so we need to return it in response to that before the Aegis gets destroyed. And that will allow us to keep Aegis on it for when we replay it this turn and have 6 power on it. We go down to 1, and we have exactly 21 damage to kill our opponent. Onto the Silver Aegis puzzle. So all the killer ones were over 1 turn. A lot of the Aegis ones are over 2, and you'll see that one here again. We get a Leave a Witness, a Blazing Renegade, and a Jawbone Hatchet, and a lot of things on the board. So we're not going to be able to attack through the air because they've got a bunch of blockers. We can't do attack on the ground, and they've got unblockable creatures, so they all have to die. So we're going to have to play Leave a Witness here. Important thing is, though, is that we attack with Bartholo first, because it's unblockable on our side. So we attack with Bartholo, and now we're going to want to Leave a Witness our Icaria. The reason why we want to use Icaria, we can't have the Silverwing Rider. They actually have this Venom Spine Hydra as well, which will kill all the enemy units, and that means that there's going to be an effect on the battlefield that'll use Aegis. And it's going to pop the Aegis on this, which would make it a 0-4, and we can't win. So we've got to keep a carrier around. Make a nice student. Blow everything up. And Venom Spine Hydra will come down. Now we get to pass the turn. Opponent's at 10. And we have exactly enough to kill them. We still have to order this properly. You've got to make sure that you play both of your creatures and attack first. And then the Spark will help with the Jawbone Hatchet and allow you to attack for lethal. Gold Aegis is next, and we have to protect against the Spirit of Resistance to win the game. So there's going to be a big spirit coming down. We've got to figure out how to use our protects appropriately to stop our opponent from winning. Now, what's important to note right away when this goes off is that we actually have an Eye of Winter ourselves. So we can stun this, but that means we have to protect ourselves. So this is kind of a neat solution. I really like this one. What you have to do is you're going to want to protect the Fencing Master because it's going to be 5. You have them at 10 life. So we need to protect that. And we need to protect ourselves. And then we don't want to use the final protect. This already has Aegis. We don't need to give it Aegis again. If we give it Aegis now, it's just going to pop the Aegis. It'll be a 0-4. It's the only other creature that we have with 5 power, so it can actually combine with this Fencing Master to kill our opponent. So we need to let this all resolve. And now, at the end of the turn, we can once again give it Aegis and plus 5 power. Now we stun the Spirit. This gets the ultimate, becomes 5, and we deal 10 damage. Boom. The Diamond Aegis puzzle finally has us winning the game in a single turn again. So we get a bunch of different things here. We've got our Harsh Rule and Ticking Grenadin and Protect. Now, opponent's at 4, and we're going to want this Grenadin to die. So what we need to do is we attack in. Opponent blocks. Let all this resolve. Now they're at 3. Ticking Grenadin is just lethal right away. The important thing is that we just protect it first so it has Aegis from the Steward of the Past's ability. This will stop it from silencing the Entomb on Ticking Grenadin. So it blows up the board and then 3 damage hit. If we don't protect our Ticking Grenadin, the Entomb will not go off and we won't win. Finally, we have the Master Aegis. Beware of enemy available power, but win this turn. So we know that our opponent has extra power here, and they're going to be able to use it. So the first time that you do this, you're probably not going to get it. They have a bunch of Ticking Grenadins, and we need to shoot them. So we've got to actually just stop the damage on ourselves. And it's honestly not that hard. So what we do here is we shoot our opponent. We islands favor ourselves to make sure that we have Aegis. Make sure we have our extra power there. We'll Lightning Storm, and the thing about Lightning Storm and all of these going to the graveyard at the same time is that it will pop a single Aegis for it, which is pretty useful. Now we can Champion of Fury and attack for lethal. They try to Lightning Strike, but thankfully we've left Protect up, and we win the game. So we're halfway through the battle skills puzzles, and we're on to endurance. We're starting off with our bronze, gotta find a way to win through all the units. So single turn, kill our opponent, back to the simple kind of things. We have a lot of enduranceing, so Dustblind is not going to help us. We're not able to exhaust units that have endurance. We can gun something down, and we can use Rapid Shot. So what we need to do here is simply attack. It's actually really, really easy puzzle, because there's also another card that we have, and that is Execute. So whenever a unit blocks, even if it has endurance, it still becomes exhausted. And that means that we get to kill it and deal 2 damage and win the game. Silver Endurance. Survive the enemy turn, win on our turn. And here we have an Inspire Obedience and a Valkyrie and a Stalwart Shield. Snow Crash Animus comes down and stuns our 2 units. Keeps this one around. Now, the way to get through this is to actually start silencing our own units. So, Stalwart Shield breaks stun because it has endurance. And then we can use Valkyrie Enforcer to silence this one and break the other one. Now we just attack with everything. They can block 1 and we win. Our Gold Endurance match will see us surviving an enemy turn to win on our turn again. So we start off with some accelerated evolutions. They have a Sandstorm Titan, and we have a Rilgon Haru Operative. Now the important thing with this card is, I missed it the first time, is that it gets double damage whenever you play a spell, which is really important because they're at 6. So what we do here, pretty simple. We want to silence and stun the Sandstorm Titan. And then we're going to use Flash Freeze to get rid of these. And then last, we're going to use Endurance to get rid of the stun on our Rilgon, which will allow it to attack you with the double damage for 6. Back to winning in a single turn for our Diamond Endurance puzzle. And we get an absolute mitt full of cards. This one's a lot of fun. And they have a Grolant, which means that all of their creatures have indestructibility. We're at 2, take a ton of damage. So they're invulnerable to all damage. We want to use this Rock Slide to get rid of the actual Aegis on these. The problem is, when they're invulnerable, we can't actually choose them. We can only choose our opponent. Okay, so how do we get around that? Well, we're going to want to use every single card in our hand. We're going to want to get rid of the attachment on Roland. This is the reason why they have the Valkyrie wings. We can actually target it this time. It'll just pop the Aegis, doesn't really do much, but now we can polymorph him. Alright, so Roland is now a 3/5 frog, not as big of a problem anymore. And we can use Rock Slide to target both of these. And from there, you can kind of choose how you want to deal with them. The only thing that you need to use is you need to use Scare on one of the 0/4s, so that it just kills one. Toughness becomes 0 and it dies. From here on, you can kind of choose where you want to use things. You can Violent Gust the 3/5, or you can just chill it and get through for exactly 7. So the Master Endurance puzzle has a 2-turn clock for us. We've got to use 2 turns to get this game through. This one gave me a little bit of trouble at first. It was difficult to see the way to get enough damage through here. And then I realized that Reforge, importantly, I used it all the time for relic weapons, but I never really used it for other weapons. But it doesn't say relics. It specifically can get any weapon out of the graveyard. And that's important because of the Fencing Master. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play Fencing Master. And this is a really strange change of events. We're going to go Permafrost on the 6/6, which makes sense, because, you know, we can't take any damage. We need to have as much as possible. And then we're going to let it attack us. Which sounds super wrong, but we need it to kill our Fencing Master, because we need all the damage to be on our flyer here that's actually going to need double damage. So, now we're able to block. It's going to give our Gem Blade that gets put onto the Fencing Master into our Void. We can buy it back, and it gets the bonus, so it becomes a +5/+5. Put it on there, and now all we have to do is give it one final pump, and we win the game. We have now mastered Deadly Endurance, Aegis, Killer, and we are going on to double damage. So we need to get past these guards and win this turn. This is our bronze puzzle, and it's pretty simple. They have, what's important here to note, again, is that they have the lifesteal, and lifesteal is generally a good time for us to start rapid shotting. So we're just going to attack with everything, and the minute that this gets blocked, we're going to want to rapid shot. And that is going to deal enough damage to kill it before it can gain the lifesteal, and we win the game. Easy. We're on the silver double damage. We have to turn it around and win in a turn. This puzzle gave me a bit of a fit because I couldn't figure it out for a little while until I realized. So Sensari Brigand deals double damage to players. It doesn't actually have double damage, which is really important. We're going to need to kill this blocker, and then we can use Tinker Apprentice to make the Brigand a little bigger. And we'll play our Brigand. Now, seems weird, but we're going to give it double damage, which will double its double damage. Sounds very strange. Get to attack, Strength of the Many, and it will become a 5/5 times 4 to deal 20. The gold double damage puzzle, we'll see if we can win in a single turn again. And we've got a bunch of things here. We've got a little bit of a red herring with Diogo, Elder's Feather, and Teleports, and Rampage. It's really not too difficult here. What we're going to want to do is just attack with everything. And we have this Stranger that's absolutely massive in double damage. And what we'll want to do is make sure that it gets Overwhelm, and then we just have to remove the blocker. So whatever it's blocking, take that out, and it deals 14 damage over anything else. Perfect. Diamond double damage puzzle. We've got to win again, and once again it's through an Instigator. So much like our killer ones, gotta remember that this Instigator is here, and we might be able to use that to our advantage. What we've got is a lot of different weapons and a bunch of power. We also have an Emerald Ring. We're going to put one of them, either the Spiked Helm or the Emerald Ring, onto our Excavation Assistant. Another one that we're going to need, because we're only at 1, is to put a Spiked Helm onto our Silverwing Familiar. Now we want to go Shogun of the Wastes to make sure that all of our units get double damage, and we will attack. Still can't combust. We have to gain life off of our Silverwing Familiar first. This will deal a little bit of damage to our opponent, and then we've got a bunch of different ways that we can win. We can combust and actually kill our opponent with our own Instigator. We can use Jotun Cyclops to make ourselves a snowball. and either kill the instigator or pop them. We'll win with style. Pop the instigator. And we win. The master double damage puzzle has us winning in a single turn again, and this one I thought was a lot of fun. It was a bit tough, but not too bad. You've got a bunch of spark things in your hand that you're going to need to stack very carefully. So you want to use Forge Wolf to shoot your opponent and get spark, and then you're going to want to get double damage. You don't want to use the stun. You run out of power if you do that, unfortunately, and you also are going to need this double damage. Hence, double damage puzzles. So we're going to play that. The double damage, importantly, works with Cauldron Gunsmith. So now we want to put Twin Barrel onto our Towering Stranger. So it's got Overwhelm and can attack here. And when you use the Cauldron Gunsmith, it's actually going to deal 6 damage to our opponent. 2 for each of these, and then 1 and 1. Now that we've done that, we can attack with our 14 damage and win the game. We're now in the last of the battle skills. We're in the bronze level of ambush puzzles. So we've got to, every single time, take cover and win on our turn. So we're going to be having our opponent attack us and figuring out how to swing back and win. Opponent's going to attack us with this Runic Revolver, which has, very importantly, 2 attack power. So we can just ambush with Storm Links. It will intercept the attack and, of course, destroy the weapon. Now all we have to do is give both of our units +1/+1 with the unlock potential, 6 damage, and we win. So we got our silver level ambush puzzle, and we're already being attacked by a predatory Carnosaur onto our Katra. So that's important. We've got a Katra every time that we gain life. All of our units are going to get +1/+1. The other creature that we have is an Oasis Seeker. Whenever it attacks, we gain a life. Oh, well, that makes it pretty easy because this one has lifesteal. So, gain some life on their attack, get both of our creatures extra power, and then all we have to do is attack, gain extra power again, and deal exactly 10. Our gold ambush puzzle has us with Arcana Monitor, Storm Lynx, and Scorpion Wasp. This one, I made a mistake for quite a while myself. It's important to notice that you have the Xenon Obelisk. Because you have Xenon Obelisk, all of your units get +1/+1. I was trying to figure out how to block this profitably as it's trying to kill our Psionic Savant, which we need. Because we're going to need to be able to use Friendly Wisp to draw extra cards and deal them 9 with the flyers. Storm Lynx actually kills it. It gets +1/+1, so it is a 3/4. Not a 2/3. So, very easy solution. We don't block this, go to 1. And now all we have to do is draw ourselves a bunch of cards with our Friendly Wisp. Psionic Savant goes up to 6. We have 9 damage in flyers, and we win the game. The Diamond Ambush puzzle sees us against Cerso. In fact, it sees us against 2 Cerso. Hello, Cerso. We're at 7. 2 Cersos attacking us. Not the best position, but we can get this puzzle done. What we do is we play a Scorpion Wasp, and then we block. Now, Cerso is going to change it into a pig. It's actually good for us because otherwise we die. If that didn't happen, this would be a tougher puzzle. Now, what we want to do is we want to weather the storm after it's transformed into a pig, which will prevent all of the damage from one of the Cersos, leaving us alive at 1 life. They're still going to be able to attack us with that Sword of the Sky King, though, so we'll deal with that in just a second. Alright, now we have to deal with the second attack. What do we do with this? Well, we have a second sight, and we have a Rhinar Hunt Pack, which has Warp and Ambush while it's on top of our deck. So what we do is we second sight, put Rhinar Hunt Pack back on top of our deck, which allows us to play it, block, and exactly kill our opponent. On to our last ambush puzzle, and in fact the last battle puzzle that we have at all. says beware of enemy available power, but when on your turn anyways. There are a few lines that'll run you into the AI killing your unit, but you don't really need to worry about that with the way that we're going to do it here. Now, it's funny, you don't actually want to play an ambush unit to block this. They have Overwhelm on a Stone Scar Mole. Playing something like Dune Phantom will stop the damage, but you won't be able to win. You're going to need this to actually kill your opponent. We're only going to play 3 cards. We're going to refresh and save ourselves. Gain just enough life that this will put us to 1. And then we're going to play Dune Phantom afterwards. Because now we have a flying, unblockable creature, and we can put a Victor's Cry on it, and attack for exactly lethal. Easy peasy. And now we've done all of our battle skills puzzles. We've finished all of them, and I'm going to keep going with this video series and finish off the rest of the puzzles. So keep looking on my YouTube channel and on Newmont Gaming, and you'll find all the rest of the puzzle solutions if you need any help at all.